when I'm walking down the street.
I do want to say to Doni and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
my head up.
I'm South Carolina, so I just
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Mars?
Oh, my heart.
Happy 20th anniversary.
My heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? John.
And dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself. There's
The doctor lived next door to the janitor to the reverend and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Doni, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it all the more.
letting His glory shine through. Dare to be you, dare to be me, dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
First name's Doni, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. We are glad to be in the land of the living one more time. Special guest today, Mr. Byron Deese of Dream Makers Network. Byron, good morning.
Good morning, Brother Glover. Good morning. How you feeling, man?
Man, life's a bowl of cherries. Just got to know how to pick them.
That's right. That's right. I love it. I love it. Good to see you, man.
How have you been? Good to see you.
Hey, can't complain, man. It's a lot of good stuff going on, man. We're in the land of the living. But there's always, we're still pushing, keeping things moving forward, working with folks. There's campaigns going on. There's all kinds of stuff going on, helping families day to day, focus on wealth management. So it's a blessing just to be in the rat race of it all, just every day trying to make it happen.
Byron, a shout out to Mrs. Deese.
Oh man, she's truly a blessing. Listen, that in and of itself is always. I can wake up every day and see that sister, and know you got somebody behind you, supporting you, pushing you. Even on your worst day. And sometimes that's the one interesting part about relationships. If you're not in the best mood, she can check you out and say, "Okay, got you. I know what you need." And that's a blessing, man, especially when you got your head down, you're focused, you're trying to raise kids, you're trying to build a business, you're trying to be active in the community. What about the wife? What about the relationship? So she's truly a blessing. And I'm
How old are the kids, Byron?
Say it again.
How old are the kids?
I just have one daughter, and she'll be 13 next week. So
Oh yeah. It's time to pull the boxing gloves out of her. 13. Tap her right on her forehead.
I'm like, what's his name? Excuse me. Like he's your friend. He's what? You going to a basketball game? What for?
She was cute up until then.
I'm telling you, man, I'm stuck, man, because I'm always going back looking at the baby pictures. I'm like, oh, I remember this little baby. And now, it's just like, what is happening, man?
Tasmania.
But you know what? It's a blessing to be a part of it. It's not. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something, man. When it comes, I know you know this. You raise children and the whole nine. It is. If you're trying to really do it right, and you're trying to be hands-on in the family, and it is not a game. It's not a game.
And then one day they have children, and if you're fortunate, you'll be around to see it, and you'll be fortunate to be around the day that your child says to you, "I can't believe her. I can't believe him." Talking about your grandbaby. Look at her.
That's
If
real.
you're fortunate, you get one of them moments, you be like, the aha moment, like, payback.
Let me tell you. So I send my daughter over to my mom's house. I was like, she's gotten in trouble. I was like, yeah, go to Nana's, and I know Nana's gonna get her. And I get over there. I said, what'd you talk to her? What'd you say to her? Oh, I didn't say anything. I just listened to what she had to say. I'm like, wait a second. You're the same person used to put me on punishment when it was the whole. I'm like, wait a second. Where's the switch? Like, where is all of this, right? So, they when they get older, they're like, hey, that's your job now. I've already raised my kids. You're doing a good job, son. Go for it.
That part right there.
Yeah,
who's going to win
man.
this election for mayor, Byron?
It really, after the bridge collapse, and all of the energy was going toward the current elected officials, it was almost like there was no room for anybody else to even get in and even say a word. But disasters in politics always happen. And so it wasn't long after that, then murders start happening again. Before you know it, it opened up a window for the current candidates. So it's coming down to the wire. But I think Brandon, interestingly enough, he's grown in the role. And a lot of people, they'll say, he's the young boy and this kind of thing. I think in the last 12 months, he's grown in that role. He's definitely grown. I mean, and even when you just look at, there's some things that he's done that I don't think his team does a well enough job of actually marketing, especially if you're confident and you're bold about Black economics and what that really means. I mean, and what it means to, when you think about contracts for African-American business owners, Black developer who's reimagining the Inner Harbor and other projects throughout the city, being able to be intentional that way. I don't know if they're afraid to communicate the power and the advancement of Black economics and what that does for the city. It's either one. It's either you continue to have blight and, low income and the whole nine, jobs are down, or you make investments in areas that will help to increase the GDP for the city. And that is what's happening. So I think at this point he is doing all the right things to win. But the thing about it, when it comes to politics, it's all about who has a political base. Sheila Dixon has a political base. She's had it for several years. The question is, can she increase that base? Can she increase the base of her, voter demographic from what it's been to what she needs to win? And that's the big question for her. But I think Brandon's doing a good job right now.
It's hard to beat the incumbent.
Yeah.
So this story came out, and I got to share it with you. Now, in 2016, the Board of Elections chief was Armstead Jones. In 2020, the Board of Elections chief was Armstead Jones. I asked Sheila Dixon at her announcement, because there are those of us who believe she got robbed in 2016 when Pew beat her, in 2020 when Brandon beat her. Peep this story. The director, hope all y'all listening out there, because a lot of people miss this. The director of Baltimore City's election is on leave ahead of the primary election. Who knew? Who knew that?
I did not know that.
Armstead
That could be a good
Jones
thing,
on
though.
leave, man.
That could be a good thing. I mean, the question is who's at the wheel during an actual mayoral election, I mean, citywide election.
According to Sherrod Bonds, and he's the president of the Baltimore City Board of Elections. He's a state central committee candidate. Armstead Jones is on leave and has been for several weeks. Barnes said he wasn't at liberty to disclose why Jones is on leave, but said Deputy Director Abigail Goldman has assumed the role of acting director. We're not missing a beat. Well, let me tell you when they did miss a beat. In 2016, They not only missed one beat, they missed 1,800 beats. He should have been on leave 2 years ago.
Yeah.
1,800 voting errors, irregularities, they call them, in Baltimore City, compared to 200 in the 23 other jurisdictions combined. This is the only news outlet that said anything this entire election about Armstead Jones. This news outlet, the only one, not the Sun, not the Banner, not the Brew. You know why? Because they don't have reporters who know the history of Baltimore elections.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. This even after I believe the 2016 election,
and if they know it, they didn't say anything about it.
I mean, I think that there should be some level of state investigation whenever there's an investigation on irregularities in the election. If there's votes that weren't counted or whatever.
He's supposed to be fired.
Well, I mean, but it would start with an investigation that would lead to this is what's happened, and because of this, he's no longer in charge, and they brought in a new team, but they haven't done that at all. So my question then becomes, well, who's the oversight for this? Is this a city or is a state function that oversight for the board?
I'm getting ready to blow your mind. Armstead Jones is a Republican. Man, y'all got to start paying attention to the news. Be More News has been putting out there for years.
Wow.
Don't even make sense, do it?
There's a lot mixed up in that, man. Yeah.
You can't even figure that out. No. Well, he's still there. And we want to put it up. Baltimore City's election director on leave, Armstead Jones.
Wow.
So this is actually an advantage for Sheila Dixon. Because he was in charge when she got robbed in 16 and in 20.
Okay. Gotcha. So if you follow the cookie crumbs, ultimately you're saying that this could be an opportunity for her because.
So now they're pulling out the dirty ref from my perspective, and they putting in this other ref, and then they say he's been gone for several weeks. When did this bridge happen?
Yeah.
Several weeks. When that bridge thing happened, they pulled him out. And I'm telling you, this is going to be the play. Oh, y'all can't say it was a dirty fight now, but Brandon has more of an advantage now than he did several weeks ago.
Yeah. I'll tell you like this, man. In a city like Baltimore, where there's always something. When in a city like this, where there's always something, the whole fact is you can think you're riding a wave and a murder could happen, a scandal could happen, something like that. And it's really just going to be important. It's really, at the end of the day, it's in between Sheila and Brandon. And
he's got the advantage. He's had the advantage because he's the incumbent.
Yeah.
And Fox 45 can try to play kingmaker all they want.
Yeah.
But that's one group of white boys. There's another group of white boys that like Brandon that put him in there, including the former city solicitor, Jim Shea. People didn't peep this move. Let me help you out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let me help you out. How far back does the relationship between Brandon and Jim Shea go?
Well, I know he ran as his lieutenant governor when he ran
there you go.
for governor.
Let's start with that right there.
Yeah.
Jim Shea was running for governor. Brandon was running for lieutenant governor. Y'all like Brandon for lieutenant governor. They barely know him in Baltimore City. Now he running statewide. Well, it was a plan to permeate the market with his name.
That's right.
When Brandon came back and ran for mayor, what was Jim Shea's role?
Yeah.
He was city solicitor.
Solicitor, yeah.
He was the solicitor. He was the lawyer for the city.
Mm-hmm.
What was the first deal that Brandon signed? A $43 million contract for Jim Shea's law firm, Venable. The first deal. The very first deal. So Brandon been helping these white boys get paid. What did Venable do? What was the most significant thing Venable did in the past 4 years?
You got
They
me.
negotiated the BG&E contract.
Okay. So they're at the seat. They're at the table.
They own the
It's strategic. It's strategic. At the end of the day, that's what happens in every administration.
When you saw that BG&E move go down, when you saw them white women get manhandled down there in Federal Hill, got arrested by that black lady cop, she was dragging them all around, you didn't hear a word. Because the deal was already in. When BG&E got that underground conduit contract, that was Brandon's reelection right there. From my perspective, it was already a done deal.
Well, it's interesting because there were two perspectives on that. So one, the perspective of he's added some additional support from the Jim Shea network, if you will. But there was a whole another side of this that where folks were disappointed in him actually, making that decision because it was seen as giving away assets of the city. And so this is an asset the city has had for multiple years.
That's not what you do. You don't give away what you own.
Yeah.
Especially to a shark like BG&E. Who was heading BG&E when all of this first started? The campaign to do the underground conduits. It was a well-dressed black man named Calvin Butler, wasn't it? Come on now, y'all have invited him to y'all parties. He been all over. Oh, Calvin Butler. He was sent here from Chicago to do what? For that one assignment, to get control of the underground conduit. So now you stuck with BG&E for a long time.
A long time. And I mean, because you think about all the other.
Said a word. That was the biggest stick up since Port Covington.
I mean, but think about all the other, major corporations who would have wanted access to that conduit. You got Verizon, Comcast, all of the players wanted part of that. And I don't believe there's even an open bid process. It was a no bid, I believe. So that was not. And so let's talk about the politics of that. I mean, that was he had to really sell that because there was a huge demographic.
Who had to sell it? Who had to sell it?
The mayor.
He had to sell it. They took it.
Well, but I'm a political perspective, right? So
he did not have to sell it.
The city council was against it.
All of them were against it.
The city council was against it.
All of them were.
So he had. But think about. But that's what I'm saying. So the city council was against it. They were definitely marketing the fact that this is a bad deal. He had to get out in front of it because it was bad politics for him. Is what I'm saying. From a political perspective, it wasn't a good move. Right?
He's got his way.
I mean,
he's about to get reelected. What else did he want?
I can tell you though, at that point in time when it happened, that was not a good political move.
It was.
He had to overcome that.
No, he didn't. Nobody said a word.
It was a firestorm during that time. I mean, when I say nobody, so you think about the people who were upset about it.
Federal Hill. The white people in Federal Hill.
Say it again.
The white people in Federal Hill.
True. But again, the majority of the council was against that deal.
They were. But they had no power compared to the mayor. This is a strong mayor city.
That's exactly right. It was almost nothing they could do, but they were getting the word out to say they were in front of every news media and say this is a bad deal. So my whole point is, from the optics perspective, it was not a good political move for Brandon at that time. It didn't gain him a lot of.
I disagree. I thought it was. Give me that. That's mine. Give it in. What you gonna do about it? Man's computer screen froze up. Come back in, Byron. So power concedes nothing without demand. It never did, and it never will. Frederick Douglass. Power concedes nothing without demand. It never did, and it never will. So if you're just joining us, let me give you an update. This come out in the past 24 hours. The director of Baltimore City's Board of Election, Armstead Jones, is on leave ahead of the primary election. According to Sherrod Barnes, president of the Baltimore City Board of Elections, election director Armstead Jones is on leave and has been for several weeks. Bond said he wasn't at liberty to disclose why Jones is on leave. Well, why the hell not? Why the hell not? Why can't you explain why he is on leave? This is our city. We deserve to know. But said Deputy Director Abigail Goldman has assumed the role. We're not missing a beat. Oh, you missed several beats. In 2016, you missed 1,800 beats. Jones has served as a director since 2006. During the 2022 general election, Jones was briefly hospitalized and Goldman assumed. See, this is a very important job. If you got one person controlling politics for the past 8 years, that's just too much power for one person. And he ain't even a Democrat. This is a 9-1 Democratic city. How the hell you got a Republican in there playing games? Yeah. I'm just saying, the optics don't look good with that. That's just a no-brainer. How the hell you gonna run stuff in my city?
Yeah, it's never looked good. The optics have never looked good with him at the helm. And my question is, how does he still have a job after all of these years? And from election issue, how does he still have a job?
We asked that question in 2016. 2016. Let me give you another piece of information since we got Darius George Hall, the official mayor of Sandtown, watching. Those of us who supported Sheila Dixon in 16 got that election, and I'm namely Hassan Giordano, myself, C.D. Witherspoon, Darius George Hall was a part of the crew. We were able to get that 2016 election decertified. Unprecedented in modern times. We got that election decertified, and they had to do a recount. Now, they still did what they did, but nobody was watching the warehouse. It wasn't like it was a very secure operation. Similarly, there were challenges in 2020. But when you rob a Sheila Dixon in 2016 in broad daylight, in 2020, 10,000 votes came out of nowhere for Brandon Scott. But people don't talk about this. We sweep it under the rug. Oh, we use all kinds of excuses and reasons, and we just ain't paying attention. Keep your eye on the ball.
Yeah. But that should be, I guess that's the question. You know, if there was enough firestorm around, especially after each election, and highlighting irregularities and issues like that, a lawsuit has to be put in. Now you're talking about money. You know, you got to pay money to get a lawsuit and actually fight it. You know, but that kind of stuff it's going to require more. It's going to require an actual lawsuit.
They are very slick down there. They get rid of Armstead Jones. They said several weeks ago, why are you just hearing about it now? Why are you just hearing about it now? That should have been breaking news weeks ago.
Yeah.
So you got dirty Republicans and dirty Democrats. That's my ultimate point.
Well, that's a fact.
Now they're coming out, Sherrod Barnes. Why where the hell was Sherrod several weeks ago with this announcement?
Yeah. We're so close, weeks away from the election. You know, so they really, the bigger question now you got, like, where's Fox 45 and all this? So they want to investigate everything possible. They don't want to investigate this kind of stuff. Like, that's the, you know, but.
Fox wants to be a kingmaker.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Remember the first two times they were pushing Thiru Vignaraja. Now Thiru's got about 10 points.
Yeah.
It's roughly Brandon 35, Sheila 33, and Thiru got about 10 points. Bob Wallace, people wondering why the hell is he even in the race?
Yeah.
I think Jason Rodriguez said 1 minute he's a Republican, next minute he's an independent, next minute he's a Democrat. Will the real Bob Wallace please stand up? He don't even take my phone calls. He must be mad because I said the truth. But I just said, don't nobody recognize you if you walk down the street. How you gonna walk through Baltimore and don't nobody know you and you're gonna be the mayor?
Yeah. I mean, I think
those upper echelon circles, but they don't know you over here on the strip.
Yeah, running a business and politics is a two different, completely different animals. Apples and oranges, you know, and you can be successful in business, but if you can't, and you can be a successful legislator, but actually running a political campaign for an executive office, that's a whole different ball of wax. And it requires a political base.
Running for office and running your office are two different skill sets.
Two different skill sets. Two different
running for office
skill sets.
And running your political office. Those are two different, just because you're good at one.
Running an administration and vice versa.
But you got to be able to run for office if you're going to be in office.
That's right.
And you can't be afraid to ask people for money. But this thing ain't really about money. It's about positioning. Sheila can beat Brandon with less money because she knows how to use money better.
Yeah.
If she had a half mil and he had, if she had 700,000 and he had $1 million, she could make up that difference with experience, with political experience. But they dropped the commercial. I saw a commercial that Brandon dropped on Sheila today, and it was like, ooh, it was a punch right in the mouth. And the thing they say about Brandon, they say no scandal.
That's right.
No scandal. No scandal. Yeah, however, you did give away BG&E. You gave away the entire city conduit system. And that might not be a scandal. That might not be the word, but it was.
That's a business decision. It was a business decision. He's highlighting the fact no personal scandals, you know, and that's, you know, for a city who's tired of
scandal. That was a citywide business move.
Yeah.
Which could be characterized as suspicious, to say the least. You gave this company control over your entire conduit system without the city council's approval.
Yeah.
They had protests out in front of City Hall. The comptroller was there, Bill Henry.
Yeah.
And the city council president was there. Let's go to the city council president's race. Yesterday, they came out with, what's his name? Ivan Bates endorsing Zeke Cohen.
What else?
And they came up, they went and got Wes Moore for Zeke Cohen for city council president.
Did he really? I didn't see that. Wes Moore endorsed Zeke Cohen. Interesting.
Yeah, it's first of all, it's like we didn't know the mayor, we didn't know the governor had interest in the city council president.
Yeah, yeah, that's very interesting. I didn't see that. But
oh yeah. Yeah, I had to take a break from the news. I took a break for some time. Fox 45 was just taxing to the psyche.
Yeah.
Had to cut them off.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I can only catch
then they bring up
what's
your
on social
Morgan,
media.
talking about your Ripsy Morgan is a political analyst. It's like, why don't y'all go sit y'all dumbass down somewhere? Your Ripsy Morgan, this the lady that pushed term limits. Let me help y'all, black people. Yeah. I know Doc Cheatham and Michael Johnson are not going to like this, but as long as it took for us 1970 to 2024, took us 54, so it happened, 2 years ago? 52 years, over 50 years to get this level of political power that we have. And you dumb sons of guns gonna fall for this. These people from another community saying you need to have term limits on how long your black ass is in office. And they went for it. You done got power like you never had it before. And you gonna listen to some dummy from some other place tell you, okay, Byron, I want you to put in a rule saying there are term limits. You can only have this office for 2 terms. Who the hell does that benefit black people in a 63% black city, a 73% black and brown city? Who the hell does it benefit? Your black ass. But no.
Yeah.
Your Ripsy Morgan said.
Yeah. And term limits is not the
These
issue.
people got the IQ of a dyslexic snail on a bag of fentanyl laced with Ritalin. It's a damn shame.
But you hit the nail on the head. We're talking about when the community has become apathetic with their elected officials, then they say, oh, well, maybe it's the issue that we got the wrong guys in there, so we need term limits. And that's not the fact. The fact is you need to make sure that you put the right people in office to support the issues of that community. That's
and
the
you
deal.
need media that will tell you the truth. See,
Yeah.
as awesome as this network is, Fox loops their stuff all day. They'll tell you one thing and they'll loop it all day until you repeat it, whether it's true or not.
It's the psyche. It's going to the psyche. That's right. That's their MO.
I'm gonna tell you something else. There was a law that came down called Question P. It was a bill, and Question P changed the 6 3-member districts. We had 18 city council people, 6 3-member districts. It changed that. That's how it went down. Kiefer, Agnes, and who else was the third? 3 of them representing this area. Kiefer, Mitchell, Agnes Wells, one other person. All 3 of them. They represent this district. But then they broke it down to single-member districts. Out the break, we lost 9% black political representation. Off the break. Lisa Stanza was the first victim. She was cut. She quit. Got out of it. So now, instead of running together as 3, they got to run as 1, which is a different rate.
Okay.
And in both instances, Question P and term limits, it disaffects black political power. Both instances. I challenge anybody on that. But
so what you're hitting on, though, is the fact that
they're gonna go listen to your Ripsy Morgan.
Now you're highlighting the issue. But you're highlighting the issue of who's providing information to black voters in Baltimore. And that's the issue. Yeah. And so then the question becomes, how do we expand it? How do we make sure everybody has an opportunity to get the information from BeMoreNews.com? Because you got a whole lot of folks, all they do is watch Fox News.
Share this link on your page.
Yeah. But some people, all they do is watch Fox. All they do is watch, WBAL. So how are we getting the right information?
What did our mothers tell us when we got a little piece of money? What did our fathers tell us when we got a little piece of money for ourselves to do what we want? What'd they tell you? What'd they tell you to do? Don't spend it where? Don't spend it all in one place.
That's right.
So if you're getting all your news from one place, I feel sorry for you.
That's right. Yeah.
Because there's all these other news outlets. And don't take my word for it. Go look up what I said, though, and prove me wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'll gladly bring you on the network.
Yeah, that's ongoing because it's too much work to start doing the research, all that, and then you don't realize, why aren't things changing? It's the situation of wanting people to do everything for you, and that's the problem that we have for this voter demographic in the city, and that's nationwide.
Byron, do you know what happened 9 years ago this week?
Oh yeah, Freddie Gray. Oh yeah.
Saturday the 27th was when the mayhem kicked off. Do you know why the mayhem kicked off? Do you know why the riot happened?
Why it happened?
Why it happened?
Well, I know when it was after the funeral.
Do you know how it happened? How about that? Do you know how it happened?
No, you tell me. I don't know. I mean, I remember I was there, but I remember.
Commissioner Batts.
Yeah.
Police Commissioner Batts.
Crazy.
That was Stephanie Rawlins Blake. She was the mayor. She went out there out west and got him, brought him here.
It was a bad look.
He closed Mondawmin subway station.
Yeah.
That's a state function, by the way. He closed Mondawmin subway station, and he didn't tell the principal of Douglas High School across the street. Why should he have told the principal of Douglas High School across the street, hey, principal of Douglas High School across the street? We were thinking we should close the subway. He didn't do that. Matter of fact, the mayor, Stephanie Rawlins Blake, whom they just gave a civil rights award to, imagine that. She then calls up the state, calls Kiefer Mitchell. Hey, Kiefer, why'd you guys close the subway? Kiefer did this. We didn't close the subway. Your police commissioner did. So you close the subway and you don't tell the students across the street. Next thing I know, I'm watching the television. And the television had Barack Obama on there saying, they are thugs. And we were saying, hold up, President Barack Obama. They're not thugs, they're our children. The police commissioner shut down the subway so those students that are walking down Pennsylvania Avenue being characterized by Channel 11, 13, and 2 as rioters were merely high school students who had been robbed out of their ride home, and they were walking home. There should be a class action lawsuit of every student that went to Douglas against the city of Baltimore by their parents.
That's right.
For putting their children in harm's way, including police dogs, rubber bullets, and the whole nine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember when the damn, what they call it, the curfew was in. There was a curfew in West Baltimore, but over there in Charles Village, there was no curfew.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they had the curfew right in the epicenter of
management of black people in the history of blackness.
Yeah. And it's amazing. It's been 9 years. You know, we look at everything that happened during that time and what's happened since then, you know, what's come out of it since that time.
Somebody was collecting money on Channel 13, the United Way. I remember the commercials like yesterday. I live in Sandtown. We have not seen the United Way.
You know, One Baltimore Fund. It was a lot of, it was definitely, it was a lot of fundraising going on. There was all kind of stuff going on, but
where's the money?
Yeah. It's when you look back and say what happened, you know, what development has happened, what growth has happened.
People got paid. That's what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a rough bag, man. And I think the biggest thing, that the most frustrating part of all of this is
it's Democrats.
Well, but more importantly, when you know what
9-1 Democrats, because they will tell you the Republicans are some dirty dogs, and they can be some dirty dogs. But I'm talking about the dirty dogs we live with in a 9-1 Democratic city. They talk all of this stuff about 21st century schools. We ain't got no new schools around here. I live in West Baltimore. What, Dorothy Height? Over there in Reservoir Hill, in that cushy little neighborhood now?
Yeah, it ain't always been cushy.
It is now.
It's now. Yeah, but then that's a good thing. But that's
it is good, but ain't no black. It ain't a whole lot of black people there. So the school you built, they not for these kids right here off the avenue. They giving us subpar services. Guess how much money has come through the Maryland State Lottery since 1973's inception? Over $15 billion. Yet we have schools with no air and schools with no heat.
Yeah.
I think a whole bunch of sons of guns should be fired.
Yeah.
They don't want to mess with me, buddy.
But I'll tell you, the advocate, that the champion of that Freddie Gray moment was Marilyn Mosley. And the one person who stood up,
whether all of her decisions were right or wrong, she was the international hero.
and they showed you what happens when you stand up for Black folks. If you, quote unquote, she was the new term, progressive prosecutor. Folks
Yeah, but there's a problem. Here's the major problem I had. Who stuck their knee in Freddie Gray back?
Police.
White police. 2 white police. Who went on trial? Who went on trial?
And 2 white police who were not even from Baltimore.
Who went on trial?
Yeah, that's right. Black folks. Well, I think there was one.
No, 3 blacks went on trial first.
Yeah.
Then they dismissed the 3 whites. People forget that. The first people you saw, so you took this racist incident, and then they started blaming the paddy wagon driver. They started tearing down his character. His name was Caesar. They started tearing down his character, which made me do some investigative reporting. And all of his peers said that Caesar didn't do that. Caesar wasn't that kind of cop to give a rough ride. No matter who said it, even some very dear people in my life.
Yeah.
Famous people. But they
bring up a good point. That's a good point,
give a rough ride.
Well, you bring up a good point, because the fact that the question is, what killed him? Was it
they don't know
knee on the spine?
I'll say it started with that knee in the spine, because they dragged that boy. They dragged that boy to the paddy wagon, and they didn't put him in. See, this is what people don't remember. They didn't put him in. It wasn't the paddy wagon of the old days.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bench here, bench there, you sit down. No, they got that thing carved up like a dog catcher truck.
Mm-hmm.
The new paddy wagon is like a dog catcher truck. There was the question raised was, did Freddie go wilding out as he had done in the past? And so that's another thing. When you done cried wolf more than one time.
Yeah.
So
but they had a camera in there.
Huh?
They had a camera in there to show exactly what happened to him.
Well, I don't know about that camera, but I know the cameras that were up in Gilmore Homes suddenly disappeared. If anything we've said here is not true, we'd love you to bring it forth. But all of the tapes from Gilmore Homes, just like the tape, let me tell you.
Yeah, That's rough, Donnie. You laid a lot of heaviness on me this morning, man. Like, that's rough. You making me think about some of the stuff that Sean Suter situation was horrible.
You mean to tell me a well-accomplished police detective from Washington, D.C. Now, you know D.C. look down on Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
They do.
Beautiful family.
Got a beautiful family from D.C. Yeah. He gonna kill himself in a dirty West Baltimore alley.
No.
That's what you want me to believe.
No.
And then they said it was a black guy with a black suit and a white stripe and all of that crap. They held them people hostage in their own neighborhood for weeks.
Yeah.
When everybody know it was that white boy with the white pants on in the picture, right next to the then police commissioner.
That's right.
Who was his temporary partner for the day. And he's to testify the next day in the gun trace task force.
And then they make a show on it and monetize the whole situation.
Took that woman's peace of mind, took their husband, took their daddy.
Yeah. It's horrible.
Dirty cops.
Yeah.
Cops slinging more dope than the dope man.
Yeah.
But we run around talking about we own this city. You don't own nothing, son.
Because what was the name of that show? We run this city.
We got more black elected officials than most any city in America percentage-wise, and we don't own nothing.
Yeah.
We can't even get a decent nightclub.
The Elks. You got to go to the halls, man. It's a real deal, man. You laid it on heavy this morning. It's a real deal.
I don't know, Byron. Sometimes it makes you, what they say, it makes me wonder sometimes. It's like a jungle sometimes. It make me wonder how I keep from going under.
Going under. That's right.
My son said, Daddy, I don't have to go to school because the teacher's a jerk. She just think I'm a fool. Look, let me tell you something else. I'm glad somebody's bringing some accountability to these young people. See, Fox, this is how Fox tricks us, and we don't even get it. When Fox can get a black mother to say on television, I don't know what to do with my child. Boy, you're opening up the floodgates.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it ain't true. I'm just saying everything ain't for Fox 45.
Yeah.
Remember that woman a couple years back? She said, I didn't know my son couldn't read. Well, where in the hell were you?
No, I mean, yeah. Yeah.
We learned a TikTok dance. We learned a TikTok dance in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
But we don't know our teachers, our kids' teachers by name. We know the Ravens by name, but we don't know our kids' teachers.
But Fox loves to peddle stereotypes of black folks. So that's who they are. That's the whole gamut of black folks is the worst story that they can find and market it and loop it, and create. I mean, it's unbelievable. That's why I can't. It's hard for me to even watch any of it. It's hard because it makes you scream at the television.
Overdo it, and then the other stations underdo it.
Yeah.
Who can you go to for the truth?
That's right.
Right here.
That's why we come to you.
Black USA,
we come to you for the truth.
That's why we ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And we need to amplify this platform. That's the objective. We gotta amplify the platform. That's why I truly love what you're doing. I love what the Afro's doing. We gotta bring these networks together to amplify the platform, because if not, we're stuck with their story, and that's what we're stuck with. We're
gonna give you coverage every day. We're gonna give you the facts so you can endorse who you think you should vote for.
That's right. That's right.
We're not gonna give you something superficial. And we're going to bring you the elected officials who have the heart to speak to the public. Because,
that's
now...
Right. You're willing to jump on.
Yeah, now it's about ducking the media, ducking the real questions.
Yeah.
We had 200 people at Baltimore Unity Hall on Saturday morning. Communities from Mount Royal all the way to Walbrook Junction. Only 2 elected officials showed up.
Who were there?
Senator Antonio Hayes, Delegate Ampry. Those are the only 2 elected officials to show up. Then Roy July showed up. He's running for office.
He pushing.
Yeah, but he going up against the incumbent, John Bullock, and Sonia Edie is going up against John Bullock.
Yeah.
So when you got an incumbent and you got 2 challengers,
split the votes. Yeah. Yeah.
Vigna Raja still got a chance to make a difference, though. Vigna Raja can put his support over there with Sheila and change that race.
He could put his support somewhere. I think these guys, they should figure something out. We're getting there.
I don't see him supporting Brandon because he leaned on Brandon regarding the bridge. He said Brandon was whining about DEI, what other people were saying about him. Instead of crime victim, he said Brandon should have been more, solution oriented and dismissed that we're not going to deal with something so small and petty, according to Thiru Vignaraja, who has run for mayor, state's attorney, and then he did it, and then he did it again.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah. So, but in all of those races, he's never come out and supported somebody at the end of an election to say, "Hey, I don't have the votes."
He's not going to quit until he becomes mayor.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he don't support black media. You got to support black media. Be it B-More News, be it the Afro. You got to support black media. You just can't come over here after Fox drops you. And And they come over here and expect people to be jumping up and down doing jumping jacks for you.
Yeah.
Because it don't work like that.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I doubt if he come out and support anybody. I think he's just going to split the vote and call it a day.
So what was the point of getting in the race, to get 10 points?
Well, you got to think about his business. Look at in between elections. This is great marketing for his business. You know, he's an attorney.
But Byron, there's a dirty word in politics. It's called perennial. You don't want that label.
It's too late now.
You know what a perennial is?
He's run 4 times with the same outcome. I mean, I don't think he cares that much. I don't think he cares. He's like, I'm just going to stay out there. You know, so I say he must, you know, actively doing this to add value to his business, his marketing, his ability to pick up new clients. That's something I can see, because he has to create a political base to win.
You're perennial.
Yeah.
Perennial means this is a guy that runs every election.
Yeah.
So the big money bag people, you see that they shifted in this election over to Sheila. And they hated her.
Hated her. Yep. So
I'm glad she didn't have to go through the SHIT she went through in the first 2 elections, because I thought it was overkill. How many times you gonna ask somebody to apologize? And here's the thing.
You know what?
Here's the thing. Ain't nobody asked Catherine Pugh to apologize yet.
Yeah.
And she 600,000.
I feel like she wasted part of her speech the other day in the election, or in the debate, telling people I'm sorry for what I did. I'm like, it's over. This was a long time ago. Tell us what you're going to do going forward. That's what we want to hear. We don't want to hear about the stuff.
Well, there's some white people who keep putting that SHIT in her face. Look, she apologized.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wouldn't bring it up no more.
Your monkey ass there. Tell Donald Trump ass to apologize. Tell that son of a bitch to fucking apologize. I'm sorry. You done got me out and messed up my professionalism. Donald Trump, they did everything to everybody, and he is this close. I'm ashamed of this country. He done cussed out little girls. Sexist. Might even be a rapist. And he's in office? Are you kidding me?
And unfortunately, man, he's probably going to win.
A despicable human being.
He's probably going to win.
No, he's not. A lightning bolt going to hit his ass.
Listen, there are a lot of black folks who are like, my life was better when Donald Trump was. Like, what are you talking about? What are you really talking about?
They weren't making money. There are people said they made more money with Trump in office. However, is the trade-off worth it? I mean, they got Donald Trump sitting on Putin's lap dressed like a woman. Is that the visual we want for our children? Is that freedom and democracy and American power? Your president with a dress on, sitting on Trump's lap? I mean, sitting on Putin's lap?
Yeah, no. Whenever I hear somebody say, I made more money when Trump was in office, like, explain it. Let me hear it. Let me hear how you made, what contract did you get? What was different in, what was different in the medium wage? What's the whole, that's a story I keep seeing.
He stoked the flames of American racism like never before. These people climbed the walls of the Capitol. He caused a traitorous insurrection, which we have never seen in our lifetime.
That's right.
He should be locked up and prosecuted. And in other countries, he would be shot already.
Yeah.
They wouldn't take that foolishness in China. They walk him right out the side door.
Well, I'm just telling you right now, as of today, if the election were today, he probably would win. And that's the tragedy. That's the tragedy.
I doubt it. Too many people like Robert De Niro who can see through his foolishness and who can talk to other white people and say, don't fall for that okie doke.
I pray you're right, brother. I pray you're right, because
we will be the laughing stock of the entire planet.
That's a fact.
White privilege don't run the world, buddy.
Yeah, it does.
It might run America, but there are 1.5 billion Africans, 1.5 billion Chinese, 1.5 billion Indian people. That's 1.3, 4.5. That's 4.5 billion people right there of the 8 billion.
Yeah.
Of color. White privilege does a lot in America, but it don't run the world.
It does not. It does not run the world. And as soon as you step outside of America,
you find out.
At you, like, you find out fast. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's extremely embarrassing. And you know, I was living abroad when Bush was in office, and folks were going crazy. Why'd you vote for him? I'm like, hey, you must don't understand democracies. You know, I didn't vote for him. You know, but he's your president. You voted for him twice, and that was Bush. Let alone think about how it is now. So
they took that flip flop off and threw it at him.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He threw that. Listen,
and George Bush was good. He ducked.
He was quick. He was quick, wasn't he? He was like, what?
Fool me once.
Shame on.
Did he get lost for words? Fool me once. What, did he have a high moment? Did the THC from 20 years ago kicked in? Because it's like he lost his words. Fool me once.
Shame on. But then he got mad at himself.
It's on J. Cole's album. J. Cole got it. Fool me once. Shame on you.
Me or you? I'm not sure. If you fool me, I won't get fooled again. That's what he said. That was good, man.
He worked his way through it. Go ahead, GW.
He did. I mean, but think about how many people used to be so upset with Bush, with W. Trump is light years worse than that man. Light years. But they're ready to bring him back. It's unconceivable. It's unbelievable. I can't even.
Biggie Smalls, unbelievable.
That's Biggie Smalls. I think that's R. Kelly.
Unbelievable. Biggie Smalls is the illest. So he sampled.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
I went back a little further then.
Unbelievable. Yeah, Trump should be over to jail with R. Kelly.
He should.
He's a traitor. He's a traitor. He caused an insurrection. 5 people got killed. 5 people died that day because of his dumb ass.
That's right. The election tampering in Georgia alone should be enough to disqualify him from being able to run again, period. What he tried to get that state election officer to do is unbelievable. We all heard it. He's like, I know you can find some additional, I don't know, what are we talking about right now? But that's what we got in the good old US of A.
You want to put a plug in for your business, bud?
Hey, man, it's a blessing to be able, go to Dreammakers Network, dreammakersnetwork.org, dreammakersnetwork.org. I'm glad you mentioned that, actually, because we're actually increasing our membership. We're looking for folks who are really trying to organize their financial life. And we're bringing in a budget, investment policy, wills, making sure your estate plan is done. We've gone to the website, dreammakersnetwork.org, dreammakersnetwork.org. It's so important that we begin the process of organizing our financial life for the purpose of generational wealth. So we address what's going on now, your immediate and long-term goals, but we want to put you in a position where your assets will be able to live long after you've gone away. And that's the way it's important for us, especially when we have this Black economic conversation, to recognize that what we're doing right now is one step to strengthen the Black community. If you can financially strengthen Black families, then that puts us in a better position long-term. And so getting our own personal house in order is important. So go to dreammakersnetwork.org, reach out to us, schedule a meeting. Let's work together on building wealth, generational wealth for you and your family. Let's take this to the next level. So we're excited. Looking forward to connect with folks. Let's do it.
Great job. Up to date, down tomorrow. Thank you, Byron. Do your day and everything will follow. Nothing to it but to do it. I got to do it regardless of how I feel. I am somebody. I am my brother's keeper. Good morning, world.